Oh, welcome to the Caz and Daz show. It is the Caz and Daz show. We're talking all things women's basketball. Now, ordinarily, we'll have this big elaborate introduction. I'll introduce Caz. I'll call her like the elbow jumping, shoulder popping queen of like Manchester basketball or whatever. We don't have time for that. We don't have time. Even though this is pre-recorded, we're recording this on a Monday. I'm not too sure when you're actually going to see this. But we go immediately to Caz's corner. Caz, we've discovered something just astronomical.
It's outlandish. It's outrageous. It's ridiculous. It's any word that you can think of to describe this stat line.
I've never seen anything like this, Caz.
I don't think we'll ever see anything like this again until maybe next week. Let me take you to Kosovo. Well, we had some stat lines.
Of course.
Of the week of the year from Kosovo last year.
Where else would we be right now than Kosovo?
So Kosovo this week, just a casual 100-point win for Trepeta over Caz Trioti, 131-31. You know, it's a big win. It's a big win.
It's a big win. That's a big win. Let nobody say that it's not a big win. People are like, oh, is that a big win? How big? No, that's big.
It's a big win. Now, what kind of performance is going to come out of that? What kind of stat line are we going to see out of this? I'll tell you what kind of stat line we're going to see. Tashari Jeffries scored 65 points, had 22 steals, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. That's a quadruple double. That is the stat line of the millennium. That is not being seen again. That is absolutely outrageous.
I just like to stress that she did not have the highest plus minus of her team.
She did not.
I instead went to Alma Musliukaj with a casual plus 101. But she only scored 26 points, 7 rebounds.
I mean,
2 assists and 6 steals. I mean, what you even do? Just 65
points with only, and I say only, 6 threes. 22.
Only 6 feet. And she's, what do we work out? Like 5'7" guard, is she?
5'7" guard, yeah. So
5'7" guard. And
what she was doing.
Let me just plus 94. There you go. Hopefully we've got that. There it is. Just scroll along the bottom for you.
We should just leave that scrolling forever.
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 It's just absurd. Somebody else on the team, Ilma Haksha, 11 steals. Only one other player got double-figure rebounds. Nobody came close in assists. Nobody came close in scoring. She just had an absolute day. A 78 efficiency. Oh, I need to add that to the tracker.
And pretty efficient shooting as well. Nearly 60%, 22 of 37. So she took more shots than the other team combined.
Just preposterous. Absolutely. You know, we like to dip into Eurobasket, just be like, oh, you know, what's happening in Kosovo? You know, we had some outrageous scorelines last year in stat lines, like people getting 30 and 30 and stuff. I'm going to quote from Eurobasket.com itself. It was an exceptional evening for American guard Tashari Jeffries, 117-97 college ABU, who led winners with a triple-double, scoring, and this is in bold, 65 points, open bracket, exclamation point, close bracket, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 22 steals.
It's a quadruple double. It's not a triple double.
Oh, yeah. Who wrote this? Because I don't know who maintains that. I don't know who has the joy of maintaining the Kosovan part of this website. Who are you? Your name. Oh no, I don't care about Kosovan men's basketball. No disrespect, but who maintains the Kosovan women's site? Why aren't you telling me? Never mind. Yeah. So far this season, she's averaging 41.3 points per game. Which is
why not?
Why not? So What did she get in her first game? Oh, hang on. Right, we're into round 3. Hi, welcome to the Caz and Daz show. If you've ever seen the Caz and Daz show, you that was their first win of the season.
Wait, they've lost before?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they got done by Pristina last time out. 110-50.
Oh, so they were like, okay, we've been on one end of a bit of a blowout. Let's take it out on the next team we play.
Jeffries, absolutely though, like 33 points, 6 rebounds, only 1 assist, fouled 5 times, 8 steals.
22 steals, so is it?
Shot, did not shoot well at all, actually. Oh my God, what? She shot 4 of 18 from 2, 7 of 19 from 3. She made 4 of 4 at the line.
Okay.
Like, she's got the greenest of green lights.
Yeah. Take it, take the ball, shoot, do something with it, and come back.
Nobody on the Pristina team had a madness. We've got a 15 and 13 from Sumeja Kosumi, so good for you. We've got Asia Robertson, 22, 7 and 6, very nice. But yeah, nobody absolutely going off on one like everybody's, I think, new favorite player, Tashara Jeffries. And there we were thinking that Kennedy Leonard was going to have stat line, the unofficial, because I don't think we've got an official stat line of the week. We do now.
We haven't, and I don't usually pick it has to be a European one outside the country.
Oh yeah, of course.
So Kennedy Leonard was going to be the honorary one, but
honorary. I mean, it very well might be. She was the daily leader in assists.
So for anyone that wasn't aware, Kennedy Leonard broke her own assist record yesterday. On Sunday against the Gloucester City Queens. Previous record was 21 earlier this year. She was like, I'll get 21, then I'll get 22. And had like the last few passes that she made were just beautiful passes to Cassie Breen. And I forget who it was that she passed to get the layup. Was it Paige Robinson? Maybe.
I can't quite remember.
But just amazing passing, just a lesson and a masterclass in how to pass for a point guard from Kennedy.
I've seen Emma Young had herself a bit of a day this weekend. 10 points, 19 rebounds, 16 assists, 4 steals, 3 turnovers. In a again another one-sided win in Albania for Flamatari over Zlaznia. VLLAZNIA. Well, welcome to the Caz and Daz show. We've started hot. We've dove straight into everybody's favorite section of Caz's Corner, just because we were just having a bit of a chat off camera, and we saw something that we needed to respond to immediately. There was no two ways about that. So yeah, the big frustrating, upsetting thing about Kosovan basketball is that we don't get to see any footage of the Kosovan League, which may not be a bad thing. I don't know if we're getting.
I want to see that regardless of the blowout. I just want to witness that.
I mean, if we can just like get a YouTube highlights footage of her performance. She has got the greenest of green lights. So in the first game, we're back to Tashara Jeffries. First game, they lost by 35. Yep, by 35. She played a full 40. 4 of 11 from 2. 5 of 19 from 3. Finished with 26 points. 2 and 3. 2 steals. 7 turnovers. So not the greatest day. But then she may have had the greatest scoring performance. maybe just the greatest statistical performance we have ever seen. Some of the numbers people come up with in European basketball are just preposterous.
They're ridiculous, yeah.
Like, I've got another one here. Sorry, Caz, I'm stealing your gimmick, but I think you'll enjoy this. For Tindastóll in Iceland, Maddie Sutton in a 87-77 win against Snæfell. 33 points, just casual, that isn't it? 6 assists, 14 offensive rebounds,
Ooh.
18 defensive rebounds for a grand total of 32 rebounds on a cool 50% from the floor and 13 of 15 from the charity stripe. A rank of 60 with a +6.
I mean, it's no rank of 78, is it?
And Sienna Martin for Snæfell, 51 points, 5 rebounds. She was fouled 11 times. 19 of 27. Jeepers, man, that's ridiculous. 19 of 27 from 2, 1 of 9 from 3. We don't have that. 10 of 13 from the charity stripe. 47 rank. Oh my good Lord. It's just so silly.
I mean, it's crazy numbers.
This is just amazing. These are amazing numbers. Right. Okay. Let's compose ourselves.
We'll blame Tashari Jeffries for the lack of cohesion to start here.
I mean, yeah. Like we were going to be like really ordered and like organized and be like, what's happening in the UK? What's happening in England? What's happening in... No! A quadruple double.
The stat line to end all stat lines. It's done. It's over. I can't.
It's over. No. I think it's now called the Tashara Jeffries stat line of the week. I think. Are we okay with naming it after Tashara Jeffries?
I think we have to be.
I think we need to try and get an interview with her and just be like, "Hi there. How does it feel to have the greenest light in the history of basketball?" That's preposterous. That's absolutely absurd. Right, okay. Composure. So since it's been ages, Caz. I'm pretty sure I did the last Caz and Daz show, just Daz, I think.
No, we had we spoke to Jay Marriott.
Oh yeah.
We had a bit of a WNBA roundup.
Yes.
Had a busy summer.
We have had a busy summer. Where do you want to begin? Shall we start domestic? Shall we start in the dub? Where do you want to be?
Let's start domestic and follow on from Kennedy. Kennedy's 22 assist barrage, setting records. Did I say that before? She's set the record. She's broken her own record and she's set the new record for assists in a game. 22.
Do you want to hear something enjoyable for me? This is very much a Darren thing right now. I get to commentate here on Wednesday again.
That's great though, isn't it? That's great. So who are they playing on Wednesday in Eurocup?
Oh, why are you asking me who are they playing in Eurocup? I
just thought you know.
I do. They're playing the Belgian team in their group, the name of which I have not yet committed fully to memory.
By Wednesday.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So they're 1-1 at the moment. Is that right?
They are.
Game 3.
So as I was making my way into so I didn't commentate the game on Wednesday because I only did the men's game last Wednesday. It's Castor's brain, of course. I saw CB in my head, and that was as far as I was comfortable going with that one. So yeah, as I was walking into the arena to commentate on the men's game, I just see Bria Holmes just in the car park at the London Lions, and it's just like, you're a WNBA player, just a bit. Was it Bria Holmes?
Why is this the first I'm hearing of this?
She was playing on Wednesday against.
She was, yeah.
Not Calla, against Shabini Bruno in the old Euro Cup. So yeah, so they got Caster's Brain. I've not yet finished my full prep for Caster's Brain yet, but it doesn't look like the absolutely loaded roster that they faced with Bruno. I'm so bad at saying that name. I didn't commentate the game. That was big Niall Gray, aka the legend, the mentor. But yes, it's gone really well for Lions so far, hasn't it, in Europe?
Yeah, like the first game. So the first game they won, it was very close, wasn't it? I forget the score, but there was a Joe Leadham go ahead 3, Kennedy Leonard saved the ball in. Just some really good teamwork in the last, I think, couple of minutes that let them get the win. I didn't see last week's game.
Yeah, did a really good job against Kelton on the road, and that's big, and that's really big for them to go 1-0. And then, unfortunately for the Lions, they did fall at home to Sabini Bruno, 74-82. It was one of those that the Czechs, they did a really professional job.
Mm-hmm.
They blew it open early doors, and then they just sort of managed the game from there. Lions, they were able to get in it a little bit, and then the door would sort of get shut on them again. Then they creep back a little bit, and then stopped again. And it was a little bit similar story to what we saw with the Lions men in the first half, maybe first 3 quarters, where they looked good, they looked in it, but whereas the men were able to they had the legs ultimately, playing against some really top competition. Bria Holmes, I said WNBA player this season. I don't know, just absurd. Like, she finished with 16 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Anna Jurenkova had herself 17 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists. You're coming up against big players having big performances, but then Lions players as well, like Holly Winterburn had 21 points, 6 rebounds. Kendi Leonard, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. So again, actually no, a decent shooting performance from Kendi, though 3 of 10 from outside is, I think, well, she is definitely better than that. Though the Lions women's game that I commentated earlier in the year, who was that against? That was against Leicester Riders a few weeks ago. There was something a little bit off about Kennedy Leonard's shooting. Like, the rest of the game was there, and we saw it this weekend. Like, she absolutely demolished Gloucester City.
16 points.
Hey?
16 points as well as the 22 assists.
Yeah, she is getting the points. I'd like to see them come a little bit easier for her, because at the moment it feels like it's quite a lot of volume shooting. Right. Whereas I think she's better. Like, she's still getting the points, taking nothing away from her, but I think she is a better shooter than what we've seen so far this year.
Okay.
But yeah, and a little bit of a Darren brag here. I got to commentate Joe Leadham Warner's first game in the WBBL. How cool is this?
We get to see this team every week.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
They're coming to a Manchester-based basketball arena near you sometime soon.
No time soon.
No time soon. When are they?
April.
I mean, in geological time, that's just around the corner.
Oh,
yeah. So Jolene Warner, Azania Stewart. This side is loaded. Holly Winterburn, of course. Shanice Beckford Norton. Like, we've not spoken about London Lions women's roster yet, but if they drop a game domestically, that's going to be a shock.
Yeah. Although, do you think they could be caught because they've got a heavy schedule? They could be caught on the back of maybe being tired.
This shouldn't be.
Is the roster being managed?
I mean, I'm looking at the minutes that they played in Europe. So Kennedy Leonard, 38 minutes, Holly Winterburn, 34 minutes. And those are two players who have, I think it's fair to got plenty of gas in the tank. Same as Shanice Beckford Norton. I mean, I think she's used to high minutes last year. Jolene and Warner, Azania Stewart, 26, 23 minutes. So that feels a little bit up there for those two. As it stands for them, like, we may see them come into it a bit more. Jolene and Warner spoke to WBBL and spoke about how the return after having her daughter has been tough because she's not able to invest everything in recovery and in fitness, and she's picked up the odd niggling injury here and there. Azania, of course, she came out of retirement last year, so she's still, I think, building up. And then you got Chantal Charles, 20 minutes, Cassie Breen, 19 minutes, Paige Robinson Miller, 11 minutes, Stephanie Ume, 3 minutes. So there is 4 players that you can start to lean on a lot more domestically against teams that you should be. I mean, Cassie Breen, for goodness sakes, like,
yeah,
she lean on her against any team in the WBBL pretty much. Same as Stephanie Ume, and then they didn't play Fatmata Janae, Nicole Lavinier, and Valentina Clocker. Fatmata and Nicole, I don't think those are two particularly shocking ones given the minutes that they're putting in National League. But Valentina Clocker, again, she was a big part of their. Well, she was a decent part of their team last year, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
So interesting to see how they go. But all of that, extremely long-winded, is to say that I don't think they should be losing any games domestically in, let's just say, in the league to kick off with. But ultimately, should they sweep every competition? If they play to potential, without question.
Yeah. It's loaded. It's such a loaded roster. The amount of talent on there is crazy.
It's tremendous. Now let's go north. They're back. They're back in the habit. The Sheffield Hatters. What have you made of the Hatters so far?
So I've seen the Hatters when they came to Manchester, and they just don't look like they've missed a beat. They don't look like they've had a season off. They've just picked up where they left off.
Well, I mean, to be fair, did anybody on that roster take a year off?
I doubt it. They've all played elsewhere. I think Georgia was in, I want to say, Spain. Obviously, Helen Naylor was in Manchester, so was Nicolette Fong-Hu-Kee. And yeah, players have played elsewhere. Naomi Campbell was in
D1.
D1.
Yep.
So yeah, they've not played together, but they've still been playing. And yeah, they look great. They look really good. I saw the cup games, I think, in Sheffield. They look really strong. But I would like to see them against the Sevenoaks and London, because I think they're the two teams that are going to cause the most problems for them. I think Sheffield are up there this season.
Sevenoaks Suns. I've not seen heaps of the Suns this year. But just looking at the roster that they've got, they've brought back Julia Koppel, they've brought back Judith Fritz, they've brought back Kat Carr, Renee Bush, and they've brought in Jamila Thompson, who's averaging 11 rebounds a game. That's nice, isn't it? They just, again, and they've had a pretty easy time of it so far. Oakland's and Newcastle, and they gave them both business. 73-48 over Oakland, 73-42 against Newcastle. They played Nottingham next time. I don't think that's going to be particularly competitive in Caledonia. Am I being unfair to
No, I
these two
think
teams?
they sweep all that.
And then they've got Durham, Gloucester, Cardiff, Leicester.
I don't think until they face a Sevenoaks or London that there will be a loss.
No, I mean, I'm not seeing. So looking at Sevenoaks right now, I don't think they've got a particularly competitive game until realistically January 9th when they play Barking Abbey, London. Oh, sorry, not Barking Abbey, London Lions. It's just London Lions now, of course. London Lions, hopefully in the copper box on that one. Because Leicester, they are not the Leicester of old, though they are at 2-2.
Yeah.
And I liked a lot of what I saw. I just think that coming up against like the top teams, they're going to struggle.
Yeah.
As we saw second half and particularly fourth quarter against Lions a couple of weeks ago. But they've got McCartney Stone playing for them, so I'm delighted. Like, we are big fans of McCartney Stone here at Focus Hoops, and if you're not down with that, then
they've got
down with you.
Hannah Robb as well, who we had a Focus Hoops became the Hannah Robb fan account at one point last year.
Absolutely, and of course Nigel Lloyd, big fan of Brooklyn McClear-Fanis, mainly because she's called Brooklyn, but also because she's a point guard. If we can get her changed to number 11, she will be his favourite player ever, I think. And so again, Leicester, they're looking nice. They're not the team of old. Now, Gloucester City, of course, new team in the league, and we spoke with Jay Marriott at the start of the season or prior to the season starting. Now, they've lost their last two, but actually, mid-table, they're in fifth right now with a 2-2 record. They beat Cardiff, they beat Durham, and then they've lost out just to your Manchester Mystics, and then a historically one-sided defeat to the London Lions. But what did you see when they took on Manchester?
So Manchester had built up a little bit of a lead. I don't think it was double figures. And Gloucester really, really pushed them. They were down. And what I liked seeing from them, not as a Manchester fan, just a neutral observer, they weren't quitting. They were coming back and pushed it. And they pushed it till I think it was about the last sort of 10 seconds or so. They had a shot that could have tied the game to take it to overtime. And it was a clean shot. It was an open look. And they showed a lot of like heart to just stick with it, because when you're down and when the game looks like it's getting away, they just kept cutting into that lead. And some of the defense and the bad, they were forcing turnovers and forcing Manchester to run down the shot clock and things. So I thought that that was really good. I think Melita spoke afterwards saying they just needed to not put themselves in that position initially where they are behind, but they were really pleased with how they responded to it. And they look like a fun team to watch from what I've seen of them so far.
They, to me, again, could be wrong, could be being a bit unfair, they seem about a player away from being a lot more competitive, at least. Because, looking at their top five, you got Melissa Manuel Carr. Obviously, we know what she can do. We know how good she is, averaging 16 points a game. They were extremely excited about getting Marley Ball, who so far seems to be living up to it. Mara Fitzpatrick, 19 points per game, 6.8 rebounds, Very nice stuff. Claire Abbott as well. And then it's a little bit of a drop-off. I'm delighted to see Inma Bautista up in the WBBL. That's really exciting to me, as somebody who really appreciated her game last year. But yeah, I think they're a little bit light. Like one more really, really good player.
Yeah. I think for a first season, I think what they've done so far, you have to build it, don't you? I guess, and that's like Jay was sort of saying, they've probably been, I guess most teams have been a little bit limited as well, maybe this year, with who can come over and who they can get with still some of the COVID stuff that we've got going on. So I think, for them, looking to the future, they've got a good foundation in place.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how many of these players they bring back or are able to bring back next year, and where they go from there. Here is the big shocker for me, and I think for me this is the last bit of the WBBL for me this week or this time. Newcastle Eagles are 0-4.
Haven't they had so they played Leicester, they played Gloucester?
They have played the Oakland Wolves, they lost 64-77. Caledonia Pride, they lost 56-57. Sevenoaks Suns, 42-73. Leicester Riders, 51-59. So the big takeaway for me there is really low scoring, especially 42 against Sevenoaks, who, whilst being a good defensive team, you're only scoring 56 against Caledonia.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, maybe I'm out of date with my information, but they are not a massive defensive powerhouse. No, they conceded 85 to Manchester and 79 to Durham. So what on earth has happened to Newcastle?
So Ebony Horton's been playing really well for them. I feel like she's having some really good games. Alison Gorell's not there this year. I don't know if she is. I don't know where she is this year. Where's Alison Gorell? But they were really short last year, weren't they? They had a really short roster and they did a lot with not a lot of players, with being very limited. And I wonder if that's kind of flipped onto you've got a lot of available players now and it's a little bit of a change. So maybe they're not playing how they were last year.
I mean, I think it's definitely fair to say that they're not playing like how they were last year.
And you take out Gorell's scoring, that's just a huge chunk of scoring. You've got to replace it with someone.
Chris Bunton is not shy in sharing minutes. So how many players did he get used against Leicester? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 players. 9 of those got like significant minutes, and I consider significant anything over about 12 to 15 minutes.
And if you think last year he was probably playing 7. And probably 6 of those were significant minutes.
So interesting to see. We'll see how they go. Because again, they've got, like you said, they've got some nice players. They've got some players who play in or performing quite well individually. Can they put it together as a group? Any more for the WBBL?
Just that the Mystics have a new player, Erica Williams from California, who is definitely going to be someone to watch. So she's played 3 games so far. She had a 3-pointer to tie the game against Cardiff on Saturday with just under a minute left. Then Rhiannon Bailey had a great steal. Mystics sealed the game, but Erica is scoring from where she wants, averaging 17.3 points a game in the last 3 games. She can shoot the 3. She's a really exciting player to watch. So watch Erica Williams.
We're just going to dive quickly into the National League. Cola Celtic Pride are racing away at the moment. They're perfect 4-0 start to the season, and they are looking nice. They are looking very, very handy. As are the Loughborough Riders, also a 4-0 start to the season. I feel like Loughborough's wins are coming a bit more against sides that you expect them to beat, whereas Cola, they've already beaten Anglia Ruskin, for example, on the road. Yes, on the road. A couple of circumstances around that game. Not making excuses, but one referee in a Women's National League Division 1 match. Are we? And ARU
just while
short on that day for some reason. But yeah, go ahead.
Just on that. So at the moment, Basketball England, I believe, are offering a free course for table officials and referees at the moment until the 31st. So if you are interested in refereeing and helping out that situation, if you go onto the Basketball England website and their social media, they've got all the details on how to register, because we need more referees.
So there we go. I will be sending that to Nigel Lloyd as soon as we get done here. If you've ever listened to a London Lions men's game, you know that I'm absolutely convinced we're going to get him doing that at some point this year. Just looking at who Loughborough have beaten, they beat Cardiff Met Archers comfortably away from home. They beat Worcester Wolves comfortably at home. They beat Bristol comfortably at home, and they beat Solent Kestrels by 6 points at home the other day on Saturday. So just looking at their results, I think 3 games where you definitely expect them to win. And then Solent aren't quite the team that they have been in years past. I think they've kept a lot of their core together, but it'll be interesting to see how they go maybe later this year or maybe just into next year. Whereas Kohler, you'd expect them to beat Reading. A handy upset, maybe not upset, but handy win over Anglia Ruskin. A 2-point win over Thames Valley Cavaliers. That one stands out to me as a bit of a... Do you know what I mean? And then they beat the Barking Abbey London Lions 27-64 on the road. That is quite one-sided. As Kohler often did last year and seasons before, really, they share the minutes absurdly. Also, excitingly, we had a dunk in a layup line. Did you see?
I did. And it was one of my favourite players last year in the NBL to watch.
Izzy Ozzy Mamadou throwing down in the layup line. So Hoops Fix Women think it's the first woman to ever dunk in English basketball. I think that's where they were at with that. I certainly don't know of any woman dunking in this country, so that is amazing.
I think Hugh Hopkins said he thought they'd seen some other ones.
Ooh,
I'll have to check that.
It was
on
was it Kazi B?
It was definitely not 5'4" Kazi B.
But tremendous, absolutely awesome. So the playoff picture in the National League, this is premature to say the least.
It is very premature.
But let's just, on top 4-0 is Kohler, Loughborough are second, Ipswich are third, Solent Kestrels 2-1 are fourth, AOU are fifth, Worcester Wolves 2-2 record are sixth, Thames Valley 1-2 record are seventh, Reading are eighth. Currently missing out are Cardiff, London Lions, Bristol Academy Flyers, and Nottingham Trent University. Nottingham Trent, who have had an awful start to the season, like no disrespect ever in anything I say, but it's been a really tough start to the season. For the first 2 games, they took Ipswich to within a point in Ipswich on the weekend, losing out. I think it was 79-80 the final. Just ridiculous. Like, where's that come from? Awesome. So hopefully Ipswich and Bristol can start performing like we know that they can, but both those sides have had a little bit of turnover. And I am just in the process of finalising Team of the Week this week, so no spoilerinos there. And we move on. We're still in Caz's corner, apparently, by the way.
I was just thinking that, yeah.
All right, Caz. Let's take us to Caz's corner. Caz, where do you want to take us next?
Well, the big news, WNBA. Finals. We've had the finals. It's over. Season's over. We need to look forward to next year. But first, let's look back on what happened this year.
And also, let's just enjoy all of the European basketball. And I know you're going to get to this, but I'm going to dive in anyway. The Perth Lynx had pre-season today, so I'm excited.
The WNBL Australian season starts on the 2nd of December. So
Perth Lynx are taking it all. Just don't even worry about that. Taking it all the way. But let's talk WNBA. So, shall we just dive into the championship game, or shall we just go through the whole bracket?
We can just dive into the championship game.
Okay, it was the 5th seed Phoenix Mercury taking on the 6th seed Chicago Sky. Both teams came through round 1. Phoenix, I'm going to go through a bracket. I've decided. Phoenix knocked out the Liberty. Chicago knocked out Dallas. And then into the second round, Phoenix knocked out Seattle. Chicago knocked out Minnesota. So the 4 and the 3 seed gone. And then in the semi-final, so the first 2 rounds are single elimination. I know you know this, but I'm just reminding anybody. And then in the semi-final, best of 5, Connecticut Sun, the 1 seed, Chicago Sky, the 6th seed, the lowest ranked team still in the competition, 3-1. In the other side of the bracket, Las Vegas Aces, 2nd seed, Phoenix 5th seed, 3-2 to Phoenix. Explain to me where having this bye for Connecticut and Vegas does them any favors at all.
It doesn't. It throws you off when you go in a week, 10 days without playing. Or so it seems. That's what this seems to suggest this week.
I mean, didn't we nearly see this situation occurring last year as well, pretty much?
So the Sparks had the 3 seed, so they had a week bye and were knocked out by Connecticut in 1 game. I think they were the only ones that were sort of knocked out early because Seattle and Vegas were the 1 and 2 last year.
I feel like their season, their semi-finals went long though.
Vegas went to 5. Seattle swept Minnesota.
Oh, fair enough.
Because Vegas played Connecticut.
But
do you know what the other teams don't have that Chicago did have?
Are you going to say Clear Cooper?
No. Oh, Copper. No.
Copper, sorry.
Candace Parker.
Oh, Candace Parker. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. So Chicago won 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of an upset. I mean, 6 seed over 5 seed. The group chat, I think, was leading both Phoenix Mercury.
Not from my side.
Well, not from you, because you've decided to inherit the Chicago Sky at the start of the season. But yeah, Caz, again, what did you see in their 5-game set?
It was a really, really entertaining series. There was a couple of lopsided games. So there was a real blowout. I think it was game 3. No, sorry, game 2 was a blowout.
Game 2 was 91-77 to Chicago. Game 3 was Phoenix 50, Chicago 86, which to me feels the most blowoutiest of blowouts.
Yeah, so 1 and 4 was, I think one went to overtime, and Courtney Vandersloot had a triple-double, which was only the 2nd triple-double ever in playoff history. First one since 2005 when Cheryl Swoops hogged on. She also set a record for most assists in the playoffs with 18. She broke Sue Bird's record last year. And she just had a phenomenal performance throughout the series, did Courtney Vandersloot. Chicago winning at home on their home floor. That game 4, if people haven't seen it, if you go back and watch the last 3 minutes of that game, it's incredible. So Chicago were trailing, and Candace Parker ties the game with a 3 with 2 minutes to go, and then it just gets crazy from there. Courtney Vandersloot hits a jumper over Brittany Griner. Steph Dawson with the layup. Phoenix missing some crazy layups that normally they wouldn't miss. Just a super, super exciting game, and one that you want to see when it's for me, when a team's won, you kind of don't want them to win on a blowout. You want them to win on like a close, exciting game. And that was a super exciting game.
I find game 3 just really interesting, the fact that it was such a blowout.
So I think because 3 was at home, so 3
was at home for Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah. So that took them to I'm lost. I've lost.
2-1.
2-1. Yeah. I don't know if maybe there was a lot of pressure or what, but they'd got another. I guess they got another game to get it done, and they did. And Candice Parker had said after game 3 that she was 0-2 in closeout games at home, and she didn't want that to continue. So she put a stop to that.
I thought it's just unbelievable. Sorry, just again the nature of the series overall, and especially 2 big wins there for Chicago, even with Phoenix winning at home in the second game, and then
I mean they took was it the first? Sorry, one went to overtime. They played Phoenix close in Phoenix. They went on the road and they got a win, and then they played them quite close the second game.
Yeah, big win. Game 1 by 14 points. Game 2 would have been the overtime. Let me just overtime 91-86. Loss. Also, and I forget which game it was, we saw the first ever dunk in WNBA finals from Brittany Griner.
I think it was game 1. I think Griner was just like, "Yep, here we go."
Yeah, I'm just going to do that. Yeah, something I can do. What? And then, of course, you had all the losers on the internet being like, "Oh, what's taking you so long?" It's like, oh.
No one has anything better to do. I tell you what, Brittany Griner this season has played the way I've always wanted to see Brittany Griner play. Like, she has so much potential, and this season she's just been phenomenal. And like, she was so in game 4 she had 28, 7 and 2. Game 1, 29, 9. Like, her shooting from the mid range has improved so much, and she's so good, and she's still got so much more she can do. It's got to be scary for teams. There were times she just looks unstoppable sometimes.
It is. I agree. It is really good to see that she's had the season, the performances, the stats back it up that we want, what we expect to see from her. Like, this is her best points season since 2017. What was her rebounds? This is career high in rebounds for her this year. Offensive rebounds as well, defensive rebounds as well.
I would imagine that shooting percentage is high this season as well.
Shooting percentage, career high. No, second after her second season in the league. Third actually. But yeah, it's really high. Her best ever from 3. Oh,
how many did she take from 3 though?
She narrowly missed out on the coveted Focus Hoops 50, 40, 90. She scored 84.6 from the line. Again, I think that's a career high. So she basically had a career year, played the second most games she's ever played in a season. After, again, a grueling season with a Katrinberg.
Yeah. And she looks like she's having fun. She looks like she's just really enjoying herself. And she said similar in interviews. She is finding the joy in playing, which maybe she hasn't had as much the last couple of years. But it shows, and it shows in her performance as well.
I mean, that's so important because we saw in the bubble, we saw her for 12 games, and we were like, you don't look quite right. What's going on? And then that was it. That was her done, which was a huge shame. Like, respect it, understand it, fine. But the time away, the time playing in Russia, it seems to have, she's come back and she's really enjoying her basketball, it would appear. Yeah. And that's so important. It's a question I ask players. It's like, are you still enjoying it? Is it fun for you? And if the answer is anything other than yes, then to me, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's their job, but it should be fun. It should be enjoyable.
Yeah.
So, huge congratulations to the Caz Bullock Chicago Star. Kalia Copper wins the finals MVP. What do you make of that?
I liked it. So Kalia was great. She averaged 17 points, 5.5 rebounds, and she was such an engine for the team. My pick would have just been Courtney Vandersloot, just because I've lost the stat, but she assisted and like contributed to something insane, like 70% of the team's points, and she was just controlling the game so much as she does in that position. But I think you could have gone for Copper, Parker, or Van der Sloot, but I just thought Van der Sloot had a really exceptional playoffs, not just the finals, and I know it's finals MVP, but throughout the playoffs. In fact, in game 4, she was 1 rebound away from another triple-double. 10 points, 15 assists, and 9 rebounds. So, but Copper, super, super well deserving for that as well. And she's going to get paid in the off-season.
Van der Sloot. Oh my goodness. In the playoffs, Courtney Van der Sloot, 102 assists.
Yeah. In 11 games, I think.
54 rebounds as well. Totals. 102 assists in 10 games. That's just... like, nobody gets close to that. Skylar Diggins-Smith is second with 67. So I was a little bit surprised that it didn't go to Van der Sloot. But fair play to Claire Copper, who scored the second most points of anybody in the playoffs, 177. Brittany Griner leading the way in totals with 240 points. So good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff, Brittany Griner. We do not have long. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, what a storyline for Candace Parker to go back home, to go back to Chicago, to sign with them in the off-season and bring a title, and bring the first title to Chicago. Like, I love it. It's a fantastic story. And when you see her at the end of the game, just like how much it means to her and how much it means to like the city, it's just amazing.
It's exciting. It's good. It's good. It's exciting. I'm happy. I'm interested to talk more about the WNBA and more about Atlanta in particular next time we chat. Because why do I think that Diamond DeShields is going to Atlanta?
I don't know. Why do you think that? But I'll tell you what's happened today. The general manager, is that right? No, sorry, executive. Vegas's executive has now become Atlanta's executive. Who won Executive of the Year? Dan from Vegas.
Dan.
I should know his name.
We really should.
But 2-time Executive of the Year is now with Atlanta.
Well, that's big for Atlanta because they need, boy, do they need all the help they can get.
Yeah, he said he's approaching it as an expansion team. Essentially, I think they only have like 2 or 3 players under contract, so it's basically like a complete rebuild. Which I think is probably what's appealed to him because he's done that with Vegas. He's built them up, obviously done a good job and has got an opportunity to kind of just build something from the ground up.
And it's absolutely what that club needs. Like the fact that they've kept any players is a little bit, for me.
They're just under contract, so.
Well, okay, because that place is toxicity doesn't even begin to cover it. Let's dive into Europe, though. The women's now. This is the best women's basketball league in the world. It is, of course, Euroleague, and in Euroleague we have returned to our more traditional format with 2 groups of 8 teams, each playing home and away. So, firstly, I enjoyed the Euroleague bubbles last year. It meant I found it really easily consumable as a fan.
Yeah.
With not a lot of free time, because I'm quite a busy man. As are you, Caz. You're also a busy human. But it is nice to see the full season approach. Group A is a bit of a group of death, as is Group B. They're both groups of death, really. Group A, Avenida 3-0 to kick off things. Ekaterinburg 3-0 as well, so that's the top 2. Ekaterinburg lost the Super Cup to Valencia, though, which I found quite interesting. And it was a nice looking Ekaterinburg team too. So
Griner wasn't there though, and Stewie wasn't there. I mean, I'm not making excuses because they've got John.
Come
Quilty,
on. They got John Quell Jones. They got like she was MVP, right?
Last year.
This year. She was WNBA MVP, right?
Oh, sorry. Yes, she was. Yeah.
Former schoolmate of Brandon Peele. So BLMA. Oh, you are. Who are you? You are the Gazelles. Our third, Usk Praha, fourth, TTT Riga, with who plays for TTT Riga?
Alyssa Thomas. Oh, she did.
Too slow. It's Chantal Handy.
Okay.
Chantal Handy playing for TTT Riga. So obviously they're my team for Group A. Obviously, they are in fifth. They've also got Venezia, Atameru, and NBA Moscow team from Russia. Group B, Sopron are leading the way. They're the only unbeaten side in Group B.
Who's just signed with Sopron?
Oh, Copper.
Shea Petty.
Really?
I think so. Now you're making me question it. No, she has. There was a picture of her.
Oh, what a signing, Shea Petty. Nothing on Eurobasket yet, but that's awesome. Yes, Shea Petty. We love that. Friend of Focus Hoops, Shea Petty, even though I'm pretty sure she doesn't know who we are, but that's okay. Landes, Girona, Dinamo Kursk are in the top four. Fenerbahce, 1-2 record. What's going on, Fenerbahce? You have a nice roster. Familiar Skio as well, 1-2. Galatasaray, 1-2. And Arca Gdynia, 0-3. I find it hilarious and amazing that they've got Fenerbahce and Galatasaray in the same group. Like, why not have this derby in the same group? I think one day my dream, and I don't know what you think, my dream would be to have Euroleague women's operate like Euroleague men of just 16 team league, home and away, and then a playoffs. What do you reckon?
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind. It'd be good. I don't think I've got strong feelings on it either way.
I think that would be fun. I think that'd be cool. Just a reminder of the Fenerbahce starting five at the moment. Alina Yagapova, who's been like MVP for like the last 20 years, I think. Kayla McBride, Kia Stokes, Elizabeth Williams, and Che Canites, who is the player that I do not know. From that, they've also got on the bench Amanda Zawi B.
Satu should be there, I think.
Jasmine Thomas. I'm not seeing Satu Sabali, though I'm pretty sure she did go back this year.
She might. I think she has some Achilles issues, so she might have just set that one out.
Oh no. Yeah, Satu Sabali is not listed as having arrived, so that's interesting. One to watch there, but I'm fairly sure I saw that she would be going back to them. But yes. So that is the very quick fire Euroleague roundup. You can watch all those games on YouTube. And do not forget, tomorrow, London Lions not tomorrow, Wednesday, if we see this before, it might be after, who knows. Castor's Brain taking on London Lions in London, live on the BBL Player with commentary from me and Nigel Lloyd, 4 p.m. And if you didn't see it live, hey, go and check it out on the BBL Player.
Is that where the women's one will be?
Yeah, the men and the women with commentary. If you don't want commentary, then you can go watch it on YouTube. But you'd miss out on me and Nigel telling you what's happening. So
why would we pick to not have?
I mean, why would you? Why would anybody? Do you know what that would make me?
It's the return of Ellie.
The return of Ellie. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but Ellie is a really It's a really clever pun on the word elephant.
It is,
Ellie
isn't it?
being short for elephant.
When you stop and think about it, you're like,
It's-
that is quite
when
clever.
you're like, oh, I see that.
It's what they've done.
Oh yeah. So yeah, this has been a little bit around the houses, Caz and Daz. The edit on this is going to be disgusting, and I'm not enthused about that, but it'll be fine. Also, a couple of things to look out for. Caz, where are people going to find you in and around the basketball internet?
Oh, commentating the Mystics when they're at home. That's what you were going for, yeah. And at the Manchester Magic games as well, where Adam Masters will be doing the lead commentary and I'll be helping out. Oh, and that's the Twitter that I remember really well.
You can find me on the... Oh, hang on. Let's get rid of this.
Tashari's ruining everything.
My Twitter is @AWadeStouch, AWDSTOUCH. I don't go on Twitter heaps these days. It's just not my favorite place to be. You can hear me commentating all men's London Lions game and select women's games, especially when they have double headers with the men. So I'm loving doing that. I'm loving commentating WBBL. It's my first season commentating any WBBL this year, and I'm really enjoying what little I've done so far. So long may that continue. Also on Focus Hoops, Caz is putting out periodic Mystics content. We're also going to try and convince her that she wants to spend more of her free time writing a newsletter, but more on that later. But most importantly,
there is no free time. It's an ambition.
It's a dream. Even as a standalone, one quiet evening, Caz is going to be like, do you know what? I just need a bit of Caz time, a bit of Cazzy B time. Cazzy B just chilling on the sofa, reliving the glory days of the Toronto Raptors. I mean, tell me I'm wrong, Caz. Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, everybody wants Vince to get a title. Everybody.
And that is what we hope that Caz will do at some point down the journey. All right. That'll do it for us. Caz, huge thank you. I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed just chatting through the numbers of women's basketball.
Yeah. No, it's been good. I've enjoyed it.
All right. So next time we're going to have an actual running order.
Will we? Is it more fun if we don't?
I don't know. Yeah. I think
maybe not for everyone else.
We'll have some talking points, maybe. All right. Be well. Thank you so much for checking us out. Make sure that you follow us on Twitter. Follow the Manchester Mystics on Twitter. Follow London Lions on Twitter. And enjoy listening to us commentate basketball this year. Because, hey, what a wonderful thing. What a wonderful thing. All right. I can't remember how to do shout outs, so I'm just going to go. See you.